Kirby Air Ride is one of the greatest games ever made, and it's honestly very depressing how Nintendo has yet to make a sequel or even a Switch remake of this masterpiece. But instead of crying and being depressed about the things we don't have, let's just enjoy the things we do have by looking at the top 10 best stadium events in all of Kirby Air Ride. And the stadium events, by the way, for those who don't know, are those mini games that you play after City Trial. Before Mr. William Nilly can be elaborated on, let's go over a couple of things real quick. First of all, everyone loves Kirby Air Ride, and despite it having 3 unique and distinctly different game modes, everyone and their mom seem to flock to City Trial. This is of course my favorite game mode too, but I do want to say real quick that those other 2 game modes are still great and I might make some videos on them in the future, so prepare yourself. That's for another day though, so for now let's start looking at those stadium events. These are of course those games you gotta play in between your City Trial shenanigans, and since there is no way to objectively rank these things, this list is of course subjective. So disagreeing with me is against the newly formed martial law. Starting off at number 10 though, we have Destruction Derby 4. Now there are 5 of these rambunctious ruinous derbies, and I guarantee you all 5 will not be on this list. Destruction Derby 4 and 5 are also the most similar since they're just sectioned off areas of the main City Trial map. If you somehow don't understand what a minigame called Destruction Derby entails, it's basically just a battle royale where whoever has the most kills wins the match. The only reason I prefer Destruction Derby 4 to 5, by the way, is because in Destruction Derby 5, for some reason, the only item that spawns are these spinny things, which is kinda just annoying. I still like Destruction Derby number 5, of course, but 4 is just a little bit better since, you know, you can use more items. Also, in this one, you are actually in the city, and in the other one, you're just by these rocks, and that's not very fun. Number 9 is the single race Nebula Belt. So single races are not actually races who are in search of a significant other, nor are they the target of a meaningless fascist genocide. Instead, they're just maps from the main game mode of Kirby Air Ride with only a singular lap. So really, they should be called single laps, but whatever. Anyway, there are 9 of these freaking things, which is part of the reason I put this at number 9, to be completely honest with you guys, but that's besides the point. The Nebula Belt is one of the most fun races to get after City Trial just because of how cool it looks. I love how all the races in this game look. Don't get me wrong, I'm not racist, but this beautiful and colorful race is very easy on the eyes after roaming around the city for quite a while. The main problem with most of these single-lapped races as minigames is that there's only one lap, and it's very hard to have a fair race that way. Like, we've all played Mario Kart before, right? Don't lie, we have. Unless you're playing on easy mode, it's a lot harder to get first place on the first lap than it is to get first place in the entire race, which means these Kirby Air Ride races all come down to your City Trial pickups. I'm not saying that isn't fair or anything, because yeah, it totally is, but that's one of the main reasons I prefer the Nebula Belt single race to a lot of the others. This one is a lot easier to treat as a single lap race, not only because of how long it is, but also because there are less RNG infested obstacles to randomly decide to get in the way. And also, of course, Nebula Belt is just a beautiful race. And if you disagree with that, then yo mama's so fat that she wears the Nebula Belt. Number 8 is the original Destruction Derby 1. Before everyone starts jumping up and down in their chairs, I'll go ahead and ease your mind by letting you know this list isn't just going to be Destruction Derby over and over again, so just relax. Destruction Derby 1 is one of the most destructive and chaotic minigames in the entire series, so it's a miracle they still managed to keep the Destruction Derby brand afloat after so many consistent disasters. Since this map is basically just a rectangle, there's a lot more open space, meaning there's a lot more opportunities to be destructive. This map also has obstacles in the form of rocks that break and create giant holes in the ground that kill you if you fall down them by mistake, which always confused me considering literally everyone is riding on top of a flying air ride, but you know, whatever. These rocks also give you a ton of weapons and power-ups when you break them, which of course encourages the map to dissolve into a pit of madness as soon as the derby begins. This map is honestly way better than Destruction Derby number 4, and in my opinion captures the feeling of a Destruction Derby much more nicely. But maybe that's just because it's weird to have a Destruction Derby where you kill all of your friends in the setting of a beautiful and colorful city that takes no damage or structural impairment. I don't know, I just like this one, okay? There's nothing wrong with Destruction Derby 1, don't argue with me. This is a good map. Lucky number 7 is Air Glider. Now this minigame in terms of pure fun per second may not be one of the highest, but it's still very enjoyable and I have tons of fond memories playing this game. Obviously, the best way to win is to either get the legendary air ride or cheese it somehow with the motorcycle thing or the other piece of junk, but I prefer using the blue plane star. This could just be nostalgia talking, but I really do enjoy how peaceful it is gliding to first place on this thing while you see all the other CPUs and Kirbys fail to do the same. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was the first time I ever saw a CPU Kirby hop off of his car in a minigame, which is one of my favorite parts about this entire game. If you don't know what I'm talking about, anytime there's a minigame like this where you can still control your character after finishing the main task, you're actually able to hop off and run around aimlessly. I literally learned this from watching the CPUs do the same thing as a 4 or 5-year-old, which is one of my fondest memories once again. I'm not sure if the developers actually coded really well done AI into these CPU things or just managed to trap the split souls of Kirby from the Amazing Mirror into every individual copy of the game, but I mean, it's more fun, so I don't care. I don't care what they did. Number 6 is Drag Race, which is not the same thing as a single race, weirdly. A drag race is actually a completely straight line race with only one singular lap designed in the style of other Kirby races, but more specifically different parts of the Checkered Knights map. These races are all unique to the City Trial Stadium events, which is probably why I prefer them over the single races. Since they're all literally straight lines, it doesn't really make much sense to put only one here, so I'm just gonna say that every drag race is number 6, but just for fun, let's order those from best to worst. Drag Race 1 is my number 1 favorite because this one looks cool just like the Nebula Belt. It doesn't look the same as the Nebula Belt or anything, but I do love the color design and the bright blue on top of dark colors. Drag Race 2 is my second favorite because while it's not as pretty as the first one, I do enjoy looking over the ocean as I crush my enemies in the race. In third place, I like Drag Race 4 since, again, it looks a little bit more boring, but those weird blocky objects are interesting and keep my mind occupied. And lastly is Drag Race 3 because I don't know, I guess it's the most boring. I still like the race, it's just, I like the other ones more, you know? It's kind of hard to rate, they're just straight lines, what am I supposed to say? Now that the first 5 entries have finished dragging on, it's time to look at the top 5 best stadium events from Kirby Air Ride, but first, I need to open a package sent to me by one of you very viewers. Now this appears to be one of them City Trial boxes, which means this could be anything, and I'm really hoping it's one of those legendary air ride parts because I want to ride one of those things, but we gotta see what's inside by breaking it, so here we go. What the? I don't want that crap, ugh. Why didn't you edit that to be literally anything else, huh? Why? You edited it! You could have made that legendary Dragoon part. Starting off the top 5 best minigames, we have Kirby Melee 1. Contrary to popular belief, this isn't just a Melee reference, this is really what the minigame is called. There are 2 maps at Kirby Melee creatively named Kirby Melee 1 and Kirby Melee 2. Kirby Melee 2 is okay, and I do like it as a map, it's just way too big and barren for what this minigame is supposed to be, which is killing as many enemies as possible. Kirby Melee 1 is just much better because it's an open field with endless enemies to take out. Playing this game with 4 players is also very fun, and the only times the CPUs ever win is if you end up getting bad RNG or just accidentally swallowing one of the dang wheels or something. The sword power is what you really need. That's basically the best power, and every other power is at least a little bit worse, in case you were wondering about that. And you can end up getting way more kills than would seem reasonably possible. But really, I just like this game because it has Melee in the title. Might as well be honest, right? Number 4 is High Jump, and like Air Glider, this is another one that isn't necessarily pure fun, but I do still enjoy it nonetheless. Now this is a complicated concept to understand, so stick with me and pay attention real quick. You know how Air Glider is a minigame based on who can fly the farthest distance in the air by gliding? Well, this minigame is based on who can jump the highest. Pretty neat, right? One of the things that makes this minigame so fun is the fact that the air rides perform the best on this map make literally no sense at all. Any air rides you think would do amazing here will probably give you a very lackluster result, while all of these stupid air rides you would not use in your wildest nightmares can break the world record on accident if you sneeze wrong. I really love how the floor designs also change the higher up you get, and once again, this is a minigame that lets you hop off of your whip once you've done your duty. The main reason this game is higher than Air Glider is because while you can still jump off your car, this time you can actually float up to higher floors. Of course, it doesn't count for your actual score, but if you just got a world record and jump to the highest floor design you've ever seen in your life, you can still hop off the whip and take a sneak peek at the floor designs you've yet to earn, which is cheating, but who cares? Number 3 is Target Flight. This is a mix between Air Glider and darts. Except Kirby is the dang dart. Anyone who's ever played this game will tell you the only goal is trying to hit the 100 panel, which is the equivalent of a bullseye, while a moving blast shield that stops you from getting any points. If someone crashes into the blast shield, by the way, while it's shut, the shield will also stay shut, ruining the chances for everyone, which sucks. But I mean, it's Kirby, so you know how it is. The best star, of course, is that blue star, since it's kinda slow and you have lots of time to aim, but surprisingly, pretty much everything works here for the most part. I, of course, am an expert, just FYI, and I get the 100 every single time I play. That Luke Skywalker guy has nothing on me, man, trust me. And as a bonus, you do get to hop off the whip and party with all the other Kirbys after you've hit your target. Or after you miss, and you get to like harass them by floating near them, maybe breathing your foul breath near them. I don't know, that might be annoying. Get revenge in case one of them shut the dang blast shields. The CPUs shut the blast shields on purpose. I know it's true. This is not a conspiracy. It's just because they're jerks. The second best stadium event in Kirby Air Ride is versus King Dedede. Wait, I don't mean King Dedede is fighting the second best stadium event, that's just what the game is called. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't title it something else, but versus King Dedede is an extremely fun game. King Dedede is giant and overpowered, and is pretty much able to one-hit kill you if he so pleases, while you have to run your little pink butt around the map trying as hard as you can to even put a scratch on that thing. This big fat penguin is a huge jerk, but defeating him is satisfying enough to cancel that out. This is also the same map as Destruction Derby #1, which is probably why it's so chaotic, but I love playing this game, and I love playing Destruction Derby #1, so I guess that makes sense. Honestly, this is probably the only difficult thing in all of Kirby Air Ride. Even if you have multiple people playing with you trying to help, it doesn't get any easier. I can't stress this enough. You do almost 0 damage, and King Dedede hits you so hard your speedometer breaks and your screen says retired as Kirby lays on the ground dead. All I gotta say about that is King Dedede, more like King Dedede's nuts. Oh, XD, gotcha. Comment down below if you got by D's nuts. Or should I say King Dedede's nuts. Without further ado, it's time for the best stadium event minigame of all time in Kirby Air Ride. And that event is Destruction Derby 2. Now you may be confused as to why Destruction Derby 2 is so much higher on the list than the other Destruction Derbies, but just hold your horses, man. Don't you understand this is the part of the video where I explain my controversial takes? I mean, good lord, you didn't even give me half a second. Anyway, basically it's because the map is better. I mean, what else do you want me to say? Instead of a giant open square or a weird city block, this map is the inside of a flaming donut with 2 main areas for items. With the amount of giant bombs and large AoE weapons, this is by far the most chaotic Destruction Derby, but despite that, I still feel like I have the most control here as opposed to any other Destruction Derby game. Which doesn't make sense, but whatever. Maybe it's because the skinnier parts of the donut can be used as a break time hideout and such, but honestly, I just love picking up as many bombs as humanly possible and dropping them everywhere while I wait for the other Kirbys to meet their bitter demise. This has always been my favorite stadium event, and I always hope this is what comes up after playing a good game of City Trial. But I usually just get Kirby Melee freaking 2, which is annoying. And I hate it. It makes me cry and throw up and barf and pee and poop and nothing good happens. That concludes the top 10 best stadium events from Kirby Air Ride. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know because I love Kirby Air Ride and really I just need an excuse to make more of these type of videos, so let me know if you enjoyed. But before we leave, I want to open one more of those dang loot boxes. Because I want the legendary air ride, of course, and this one I actually bought with my own money. None of you viewers sent this to me, so let's hope it's money well spent, right? I need that legendary air ride. Wait, what?
I forget bitch in the dark. My diamond shine in the dark. We did that slow like a fart. I'ma go just like a fart. You police,